So there is the Fiamma roof rack. It's big. You know, I just couldn't have got the short one. No, no. I have to get the big one. And I couldn't have gotten just the little, you know, crank out. No, no. I got to get the one with a motor. Why? I don't know why. It's easier. Yeah, I guess it'll be better when I'm in camp and I'm tired and I don't want to roll out the stupid awning. It's got this little motor on it, but it's pretty heavy. It's probably a good 80 pounds probably. Okay, so here's the deal. It's got to go up on that rack, which was built for it. So meet me up on the roof. So the problem is that the just awning box has to fit in here, but to do that, it's got to go a little bit, and I mean like a quarter of an inch beyond here. Now these don't give. This is not something you just pop off. It's you got to go underneath and unbolt them. But the fear is still going to be that even if I unbolt them and put the awning in, how do you put the bolts back on? Because you can't access it, you know, because there's no way to get your hand in there now. So I have to come up with a new way. It's not quite clear. I was thinking that maybe I don't really use tilting, but it could be a way that I could put a hinge on the back side of here. I'll show you if I can get the phone around there. So on the back side is this little channel. So that channel holds bolts, and you could bolt in a hinge and then bolt the other side of the hinge onto here, and then just have a pin. But how would you pull the pin out in the middle ones? That's a good question. So one way would just be to redo all of them and move the panel back as far as I can so that the nut's back, so that I drill a hole right here, and that moves them all that way. But then again, you can never take the panels off without taking the awning off. Oh, you know, it just couldn't go smoothly, no. So when you're building things on a custom scale like this is, everything has to be adjusted or changed to make it work how you're going to do it. And that can get really mind-numbingly tough on morale after a while, because nothing is built for it. The wood isn't built for it. The insulation isn't built for it. The cabinets aren't designed to go in. I mean, the solar is kind of built for solar, but not really in a van. So everything has to be massaged to death. So with vans, there's always a high point and a low point. This is my low point. It's got to take off all those panels and rework them all. It's probably another day at least. This is why those vans you see on YouTube cost $130,000, because you got somebody who suffered to get every van to work right. So it is what it is. I can't just say, oh, heck with it, I'm not going to do it. Who's going to do it? You're going to pay somebody? No. Just get up there and take them off and take it like a man. So this is another problem. The wiring bundle comes out of the motor. That's fine. But right in the middle is this piece for the control head. So that's fine, but there's no way, how do you pass that through the van wall? That's a pretty big hole, and I've not seen a really good way to pass that through, or hardware that could make that waterproof. So to figure out a way to do that, I mean, you just drill a big hole and just goop on a bunch of dry core. That seems kind of, I don't know. So I sent Fiamma USA a email, and I said, well, just how do you intend to fit this through the van wall? What was your thinking? And they sent me back a mail that said, oh, we don't have anybody here who's technical. They just sell you this stuff. There's probably people in Italy who don't speak English who know how to do it. It's very big in Europe. So basically, you're on your own, son. So one thought is you could just cut all these and then re-solder them. That way your hole is this big instead of this big. I don't know. There really is nothing in the motor. It's the same thing. There's not a quick disconnect in the motor either. It's pretty well put in there. So I'll just go on to Amazon or keep looking for some kind of a way that I can, or just a roof housing that can hold this kind of width and then seal tight for that big of a wire. And then lots of dry core. So we got the awning up on the roof. I had to do a couple things to it. One of them was that the rack itself was a little bit too long. So I can kind of show this, that this thing was a little bit long. So it was about 1/2 inch long, but I cut it back more because I wanted the front to go a little bit farther forward. So number two is it didn't give me the nuts. The way this works is you're supposed to screw down. There's a nut that goes in here and you put a bolt in, and that pushes this piece hard against that lip so it can't come out. I mean, it's really nothing that holds it in but those bolts that just hold that thing tight in there. So I'll be using just locking thread compound on that. So there's one here and there's one at the very front too, but I added another one on the inner strut. So up in there you can kind of see there's more of those. So the second one was, okay, how do you get the wire harness in the roof with this thing stuck to it? And I never, there was, you could drill like a little gland through here, but it's hard to reach that. So what I'm going to do is just take and run it along here through a wiring cable, of course, and then run it in through the backup light and then around. So I'll have to massage this bracket a little bit so that can kind of get in there and then make a bigger hole. So everything has to be custom made. You just can't fit. No. Everything has to be custom made. So the instructions say to add a locking screw to here and the back, but there's 4 brackets to pick from, and I put a locking screw here and back in there too. So there's the rough wiring where I put it in the little bundle, and that's going to go into the tail lights. I had to cut that out a little bit. I had to cut this out a little bit, and I need to make a notch in the back of this so that it'll all screw together, and then I'll secure this somehow. So there's the finished exterior portion going right up into the brake light. Now to the interior. So I ran the line along here in this back channel, and it's a little short, so I have to cut and extend these wires maybe another 3 feet. That will give me enough room to put it along here and then have it, because the switch is going to come right here at the side of the cabinet. Yeah. So I extended the cord down to here. So here's the final control box. And I ran, these are the wires that go to the relay switch, so those feed through the walls and come out here. So remember, there's a little switch here that goes to retract or extend. So that's pretty much it, except for plugging it in, and yeah, that's the easy part. So the awning's wire harness comes in here, runs down here, it goes down, the control box sits right here, and then, as you remember, I ran the power for the awning right there up along this chase. So this chase is huge, and down here. So this is a on-off switch for the power, the main power to the awning. Yes, there's another switch which will be right here. That's just to put it out or in. But they talk about having a relay so that when you turn the key on, the just power to the awning goes off. So that way, if you're driving down the freeway, it doesn't open up by itself. I'm not sure how it would do that, but you know. So I'm not going to do that where I have to tie in to the fuse box up here. I'll just have a power switch that before we take off, I'll just turn it off. So the power from the control box runs up here and then hooks to one side. The power from the just fuse box over here runs back over here to tie into that, and the 2 grounds hook together. So that's pretty much completes the installation of this bad boy. All I have to do now is make this cabinet and then put that switch in and put batteries in to run it. But anyway, that's it. That's the final product right there. I'm toying with the solar panels in that I wanted to have something where I could unbolt from the top. So I ordered some stainless steel eyelet pins. So each one will have like a little eyelet pin which will bolt to the side of the Fiamma roof rack. And then I'll have a nut on top that I can just raise. In doing this, you could actually flip up the panels to, say, 30 degrees. I won't ever do it, but you could if you wanted to. So I'll show that when I get those done. Everything you're waiting for Amazon to send up for parts, or you're waiting for Monday to call people. That's the way it works in vans. So this is one of our reading lights, and I found that on a website called Little Light, L-I-T-L-I-T-E, littlelight.com. It's got a dimmer, and the head will start out at red when you dim it and go all the way up to white. So that's a nice thing to have, because sometimes it's too powerful even on the lowest white setting to read it at night. So they're not cheap, but they're super high quality. Man, they're like what you'd see in a yacht or like a jet plane or something. But, so I hope they last the next 20 years for what they cost. But they're nice lights. They do the same thing over here, and they're powered off a 12 volt, and the head will. It's like what you would see maybe in a conductor's podium or that kind of thing. Very nice.